Let's imagine that you've done everything right. You've saved for 30 years and now you have 2, 3, maybe 5 million in retirement savings and you're ready to retire. And in your first year of retirement, the market drops 25%. Now that's not a hypothetical. That's what we call sequence of returns risk. And that can have a big impact on retirement. So today I want to talk about what is sequence of returns risk and how that's different from market risk, how much of an impact that can have on you in real numbers, and then the strategy that I use to protect my clients against sequence of returns risk. If we haven't met, my name is Liz Whittaberry, and I'm the founder of Best Path Advisors. And for more than a couple of decades, I've been helping women and couples retire on their best path. And I want to talk about sequence of returns risk, how that can impact you, and how you can protect yourself against it so that you can be on your best path in retirement. Now, let's start by talking about what sequence of returns risk is. I know that you've heard of market risk, and you're aware that the market goes up and down. It has some good years, it has some bad years. It usually has more good years than bad years, but it does go up and down. And in those bad years, what happens? Well, if you're still working, the bad years are not that bad, really. Think about it in this way. When you're putting money in, if the market goes down, you're able to buy more shares with the same dollars. And then when the market rebounds, you get the benefit of more shares rebounding. And so you just continue to save to your IRA, to your 401k, and take advantage of those bad years to help fuel even more good years ahead. But when you retire, then it's very different because now you're not putting money in, you're taking money out. Think of it this way. If we compare it to, say, a campfire, and your working years are those years when you have more logs to put on the fire. Well, if a big wind comes along and we, compare that to a bad year in the market, that big wind comes along and it kind of threatens to blow out some of the fire, the campfire that you built up. You can add some more logs and that can refuel the fire and that can build the fire back up. But when you're retired, you don't have more logs to add to the fire. So when a big wind comes along and you don't have logs to add, then having that fire blown out or dimmed or reduced has a much bigger impact. And so that compares to when you're retired and you're taking money out and you're not adding any more money to that pile, well, then down years can have a big impact. And that is why it's very important to have a plan to protect yourself against the down years. Now, let's talk about how bad, a market impact this downtime could be. Let's say that you're 63, you have $3 million, you're going to retire and you're going to start taking $123,000 a year out of your retirement assets. That's a 4% withdrawal. Well, if you have some good years and in the beginning, so that each year you're taking your $120,000 out, but you're also getting a lot of growth, more growth than what you're taking out, and your portfolio continues to grow over time. 20 years later, you've taken 2 decades of distributions. You've taken $120,000 each year for 20 years, and you have more than you started with. And that's a great feeling. But what if, on the other hand, you have a bad year at the beginning? And instead of getting some, gains, you actually have a 25% drop in the first year. Well, the 3 million goes to 2.25 million. And then you take your $120,000 out. So then you have 2.13 million. So 3 million is now 2.13 million. You had your 120,000 to live on, but now you have 2.13 million going into the next year. Which means if you take 120,000 that year, you're going to be at almost 6% coming out of your portfolio. And it would take a 40% or more than 40% actually rebound to get all the way back to 3 million. And you still need to fund your lifestyle. You still need 120,000 a year. And that is why having a down year early on can be detrimental to a retirement portfolio. If we think of these as two different retirees, let's say one retired, in a good year, and the next one retired the next year, and it was a bad year, and they had the exact same portfolio, the exact same income needs, the exact same average return over retirement, we can see that they could end up with two extremely different end results, two different outcomes. One could have a lot of money left at the end, and the other might not have very much money left, or might have to make some lifestyle changes over time as a result of having that bad year. Now, the fix to this is what I call bucket planning. And bucket planning says, don't look at your retirement portfolio as just one big pot of money that you're going to take money out of during your retirement. Look at it as different buckets that are set aside with specific jobs for specific time frames. And in my planning, I use 3 different buckets. The first bucket number 1, is going to cover years 1 through 5 of retirement income. It's going to cover the lifestyle income needs, the travel you want to do, the giving you want to give to grandkids, or gifts that you want to make to the causes that you care about or to your church. All of that's going to be set aside in bucket 1 to make sure that that money is there when you need it. It's never in the market. So if the S&P 500 drops by 25% in the first year, bucket 1's not impacted. Bucket 1 money is still there. It's still available to fund everything that you're going to do. And you're able to rest easy knowing that you can still go on those trips, or you can still give that gift, and your portfolio is, you're not going to be forced to sell something at a loss in order to cover that. Bucket 2 covers years 6 through 10. Now, bucket 2's job is to be more conservatively invested, because you're going to need to use it in 5 plus years. And it's there to grow in the background. We're not looking for a home run, but we're looking to have some growth and to be able to replace bucket 1 as you use bucket 1. And so bucket 2 is for that middle period of time. And then bucket 3 is for beyond 10 years. That's going to be your growth engine. That's for assets that you're not going to use for at least 10 years. And so that can be invested in equities or in other growth assets. And if in the first year you have that 25% drop in the S&P 500 and it really impacts your bucket 3 money, you know that you're not going to need that for 10 years. It's got 10 years to rebound. It's got 10 years to come back. And so you're going to be able to let bucket 3 do what it needs to do to recover and recoup and be there at the end of 10 years. And you don't need to panic about the fact that in year 1, there's been, a little bit of a adjustment to that. And that's why having bucket 1, bucket 2, bucket 3, having those lined up to the specific jobs that they do allows you to create a retirement income plan that's very specific to what you need to provide the income you need, the short-term growth you need, and the long-term growth you need. This allows you to cover your expenses and everything you want to do, allows you to keep up with inflation, allows you to cover all of the needs that you have in retirement. Now, thinking through all of that, I want to encourage you, if you're at or near retirement, you're thinking about retiring this year, you're going to retire in the next 5 years, look at your plan and make sure that you have a plan in place that's going to line up the things that you have with your needs in retirement. And I encourage you to get a financial advisor to work with you on that so that you can think through not just how much goes into each bucket, but also what goes into each bucket so that you're thinking about it from a tax planning perspective. You're thinking through what assets will I want to pull from relative to what tax consequences I'm going to have with each of these different accounts. And that way you can coordinate the entire plan. You can make sure that you're thinking about IRMA costs, and you're thinking about tax brackets, and you're thinking about all of the different things that are going to impact you. If you don't have somebody that you could talk to about that, you'd like me to look with you at your specific situation, I'd be happy to do that. Just go over to my website, www.bestpathadvisors.com, and you can click on the link to schedule a meeting, and we'll have a 15-minute conversation to talk about your situation, your bucket plan, and how that might look for you. And I encourage you, if you have enjoyed this, if this has been good information, subscribe to this channel, because I put out a video each week that will help you be on your best path in your retirement. And if you know anybody that's going to be retiring in the next 5 years, share this video with them, because it could be one of the most important things that they watch this year, so that they can also be on their best path in their retirement. And with that, I look forward to seeing you again next week.